Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today we're going to talk about current events, the Gen X style. All right. So the first thing I'll talk about is over there in Gaza. Let me see here. Let me read the official word to you here. The International Association of Genocide Scholars, that sounds pretty official and important there, has declared that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, citing attacks on healthcare aid and educational sectors. The International Association of Genocide Scholars. All right. So, about this horrific thing over there that's going on in Israel, and it's a serious topic, that deserves a lot of consideration, and some deep contemplation and stuff. But I'm not going to give it, the consideration and contemplation it deserves, because I just don't give a shit. I don't care. Sue me. Go ahead, say what you like about me. I just don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't. I really don't. There are millions of Americans dying every day on the streets due to drug addiction created by the pharmaceutical industry and stuff. And so any group of people over on the other side of the world killing each other, that's just way down at the bottom of my list of things that America should be concerned about. So just the way I am. If you got to start at home and then work your way out. If I'm starving to death here, out of work, and my kids are hungry, my family's hungry, my dog's hungry, and I went over and was helping feed people across town, I would be a moron. I would be stupid. It just wouldn't make sense. But when our countries do it, when our governments do it, we applaud and we care so much about all this stuff happening across the ocean, and when all the atrocities happening in our home are just overlooked. So the way I see it, people have been committing genocide and killing each other since time immemorial. I mean, it's what we do best, right? We kill each other. Nations and large groups of people, not individuals, but nations. We do war. We do, conflict. It's what we have done since the beginning of time. It's the one thing that has not changed. Governments, types of governments have changed. Just everything has changed, except that we were killing each other with sticks and stones, and now we're killing each other with rockets and drones and stuff. I can't get worked up over it anymore. I don't give a shit. I just don't care. Let them go. Ignore that shit. I don't know what else to say. Don't. It's not even current event worthy anymore. This is the last time I'm probably going to talk about Israel and Gaza and all that bullshit. It's just stupid. I don't care. All right, on to the next one. All right, Australia has to pay an additional $475 million in compensation for unlawful robo-debt scheme. What happened there, I had to look this up. To my Australian friends, I apologize, but I actually had to look this up. I had no idea there was such a scheme or whatever happened. But the Australian government, from what I understand, they implemented some kind of just algorithm to find people who were on the welfare system, who were who shouldn't have been on there, right? Who were just gaming the welfare system and who were making money and didn't deserve to be on there. Well, it targeted, of course, it's the government, it's a government, so they're gonna screw it all up. So they just got this algorithm and just cut it loose. And not only did they let the algorithm find out who was doing this, right, getting unlawful benefits, but they let the algorithm mete out punishment. They actually had their information sent to debt collectors and shit. I mean, it went several steps into it. There were suicides because of it, directly linked to it, and a lot of it was just incorrect. Yep, the algorithm was wrong, got it wrong, because the people weren't working steady, right? They'd work a few months or a few weeks or whatever, and then they'd be off for a few weeks, and then they'd work and be off. They didn't have, their job wasn't continuous all the way every day of the year, or every week of the year or whatever. So a lot of people got nailed with this because the algorithm didn't pick up that the work was ebb and flow. So they went several weeks or months without any money at all. So, but the algorithm just did an average, right? Just took a couple hits of their income and then averaged it out without any human supervision or oversight or anything like that. They just let the algorithm go, hands off, go do your thing, algorithm, fly, be free. And people were being shamed for thieving from the government and all this stuff, thieving from the people of Australia, the tax money and that. And it was just really horrible, right? And now they started a class action lawsuit, and the victims actually won, right? So the algorithm collected like 1.2 billion in funds and stuff. People had to sell their cars, their houses, do all kinds of crazy shit, take out loans to pay off this money that the algorithm said they owed. So that's what they were suing for. So the algorithm collected in like 1.2 billion, and now the government has to pay out 2.4 billion. All right, double what the algorithm took in. And of course, now the taxpayers are going to have to foot the bill for that. The taxpayers are going to have to pay for all that bullshit screw up that the government just did. They just did it. There's no rhyme or reason to why. Oh, it's computers, it's algorithm, it's AI, it's wonderful. Let's do it. Yeah, why not? Why not do it? Why not? The Terminator movies never happened. We never saw the Terminator. We don't give a shit. It's not our money. It's not. Yeah, what the hell? And still, no, I didn't read anything about anybody going to jail or being a human being in the position to make the decision to do this. Nobody's being punished. No, it's the taxpayers that are being punished. The taxpayers with all this shit, and now that blows my mind. It blows my mind how the government up there, they can screw up so bad, and then the taxpayers have to foot the bill. It almost sounds like America. You know what I mean? That sounds like some American shit to me. Y'all over there in Australia, Vintage and Trip and JP, your government is right up there with the American government. Y'all just need to go ahead and get involved in some more foreign wars, and you'll be right up there with us. And so, what's next on our agenda? This month, September, there's supposed to be a lunar eclipse, a blood moon eclipse, right? And that'd be pretty cool to see. But I was wondering, but we're not going to be able to see it here in the Northern Hemisphere, which sucks. The Northern Hemisphere is always getting the shaft, you know what I mean? We're like the we're the marginalized group of the planet, the northern hemisphere. It seems like the southern hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, they get all the cool stuff, except for the robo-debt. Now, that kind of sucked, I'll admit. Robo-debt suck. But as far as natural phenomenon shit, you know, the southern hemisphere always gets all the cool shit. Y'all got emperor penguins down there and stuff. But I'm waiting for like the moon. I want to see the moon come over and align with the hole in the ozone layer. Like, you know, it should be like a halo around it from that hole in the ozone layer. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be a beautiful sight? Why hasn't anything, you know, it seems like the hole in the ozone layer, some light would be reflected or refracted differently or something, you know. That's a hell of a thing, you know, a hole in the ozone layer. So you think that light or something would, you know, it'd be some kind of, I don't know, visual evidence of some kind. It's the only thing that I've ever heard of or seen that has absolutely no bearing or no effect on the physical world at all in any way, shape, or form, right? This is zero, none. It's just there, but it's not, right? I mean, you got to go down to like the microscopic level to get that kind of hidden stuff, okay? You know, electrons and shit, right? Talking about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd like to see the moon pass like a ozone hole eclipse, where the moon passes right over the hole in the ozone layer, so we can see that bitch just once before I die. You know, I just want to see some kind of evidence of it, besides just you know the stuff that they say is kind of, it's like, you know, the wildfires with the weather. I can't say the CC words, but the weather caused the wildfires. You know, that's due to the wildfires, even though there are arsonists running around literally get caught on camera starting them, but we blame it on the you know, the weather, the long-term pattern weather. You all know what I'm talking about. You know, the thing that gets me the flag on my video every time I bring it up. Yeah, so I'm trying not to get flagged this time, which I probably will anyway, but whatever. So, you know, that kind of stuff, doesn't that make you question things? I mean, I don't know if there's a hole in the ozone layer. I'll be honest, there very well could be. I say a 50% chance, flip a coin. There is one, there isn't one. Maybe there's a bunch of little tiny ones. Maybe there is no ozone layer. Maybe that's just made up shit like space and flat Earth and, you know, whatever. I don't know. But I tend to believe in the ozone layer, but I question the whole hole theory. You know, like the moon is made of Swiss cheese thing. You know. People used to believe that kind of shit. There was a man in the moon, and there's a face on Mars, and this kind of stuff. So I don't know. We've throughout history, throughout time, mankind has believed a lot of crazy shit. You know. So say we believe that there's a hole in the ozone layer. That's not far-fetched. You know. That's not real crazy shit. That's just par for the course for humanity. People have believed some crazy stuff in the past. And we believe some crazy stuff now. You know? So let's see what else we got here. Do we have anything else? Oh, yeah, there's some stuff about the Venice Film Festival and the U.S. tennis tournament. And about the Venice Film Festival and the U.S. tennis tournament. Not really going to talk about those because I don't give a shit about either one of those. So they're just stupid. I don't pay attention to that shit. I don't think any of y'all will find it interesting, and I can't even really think of anything interesting to say about that dumb shit. So I'm not even going to talk about it. So there wasn't much interesting in the current events today. I'm sure Trump did some shit, pissed somebody off, I'm sure. But I can't talk about Trump every single current events cycle every week in current events. I can't just keep throwing Trump's name out there like some hamburger flipper or something. Just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I can't do that shit. So other than that, it's a pretty quiet week on that front. Unless you live in Gaza. It's not so freaking quiet because of the rockets and the bombs and shit. But over here in America, for those of us who don't give a shit about the rockets and the bombs, pretty quiet in the current events front. So I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there, or hitting that hype button too. I'd appreciate it if y'all do that. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll leave that link down in the description, and thank you very much to those of you who do that. And if you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff like that. But I'll leave that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a hell of a lot, so thank you very much to those of you who do that. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.